Hello, mic testing. 1, 2, 3. How's it going? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? Give me a GM in the chat. All right. I don't want to be in prison. Well, you'll be fine. You won't be in prison just yet. GM. Let's wait for a few more people to join and then we will start. Agenda for today is not much. It's some general cybersec discussions, understanding what's ethical and what not while hacking. What else are we discussing today? Code reviews, maybe, probably. Let's review some personalized code judge logic. What else? Insecure websites. Yeah, that's a brief agenda for today, guys. We'll wait for a few more people to join, then we will start. Until then, let me look at chat and see how's it going. Pop this out. There we go. All right. Why was the video removed? That's what we'll discuss today. This is a post-mortem stream of what happened. What seems to be happening. Let me give you a TLDR. TLDR is there are a few things that you can do when you're trying to explore a website. Few things you shouldn't do. Some things are borderline, gray. Can you do it? Can you not do it? For example, scraping a website is borderline gray. You can actually scrape a website. It's nothing extra that you're doing, unless you scrape at a very big level, which thankfully we did not. We only scraped like 8,000 records, 9,000 records. So that's not a lot of records to scrape. It becomes problematic, slightly problematic, if you do something with that data. That's a brief. This session is beginner friendly, mostly I would say. We'll go through some of our websites only. Let's go through our website and understand, how can you reverse engineer a few things? How can you try to hack a few things? But more than that, we will discuss what went wrong, what is wrong with an examination website. There are some clear flaws that if you're able to, if you are able to exploit, then, you can uncover a few things. The reason I took the video down was because we didn't discuss much in the video. We didn't do much really. What we did is something that's been happening for years. But if you find some other things that can be a little problematic, this is not my battle. I don't teach neet, right? So there's no benefit for me to do anything. There is only downsides. If the government wants to capture, gets some YouTuber, I'm the easiest target. Why? Because I'm the one who's doing something borderline shady. Everyone else is just talking about it. So there's no point for me to get involved in this, which is why the video was taken down. That's a TLDR of it. I wanted to do much more. I found a few other things, but I would urge you to try and find them. I'll share a little bit of how you can hack my own website, standard vulnerabilities in there. We can go from there. Okay? All right. How many people have joined? That seems like a decentish number. We can start. Quote mein dal do. No. Nah. The video has been taken down. Now, someone downloaded it. I don't know. Uploaded it somewhere. I don't know. But it'll probably remain private. All right. Let's begin with how I got with the idea of that we need to do this. If you go to our cohort website, it is Sunday when I got this idea. Why? Because my YouTube feed was filled with this content. The goal of the stream is also to understand how to build products through curiosity. That is the best kind of products that are built that also help you. There are two kinds of people in coding. The first kind, which is build a project, put on resume, move on, and then the other kind who don't care about putting anything on the resume. They're just doing this for fun. Be in the second category. That was the initiation for this idea as well. Okay, on Sunday in the cohort, I asked someone, I can name him Javed, यार in the class, in the live, I told him, let's try to scrape something. Let's try to see, can we scrape this website? I've done this in the past. I think they don't have a captcha, so we should be able to do it. And then he sent me this specific script. Let me share that script with you. Oh no! Let me share that script with you. All right, sorry about that. So this is, oh, not this. This code I came up with. This is what I would do as well. From first principles, it felt like scraping using a library like Puppeteer. Okay, let me give some context. When you're doing this kind of scraping, you can either use a library like Puppeteer, which is nothing but Google Chrome that you can run through a command line interface. I'll show you the code very soon. Or something like Playwright, Selenium, Cypress. All of these are tools that let you start Chrome programmatically. And what you can do is, you can open a website. Let's say this is a random website. You can open this website programmatically. You can click on the login button over here programmatically. You can put a random email over here, and you can start to brute force passwords. You can put the first password, click on login. If you don't get in, you can put the second password, so on and so forth. Fairly straightforward stuff. That is what Javed did as well from first principles. He started to, as you can see, in a standard for loop, going through all the dates, months and years. He would open a specific website, click on a button over there, wait for a specific text to come up. Sorry, your scorecard isn't guaranteed. And if that happened, put a date, put a month here, here, and here. You get the idea. You put the date, month, and year in specific input boxes. You first open a Chrome on some specific URL, doesn't matter. Let me just paste the gist in chat. So if you want, you can look at it. But high level, he thought, why not start a bunch of Chrome instances to, scrape? Why is that bad? Can someone tell me? And the reason for this was, when he was going through that specific website, when he tried to look at the network tab, he did not find anything useful. He did not find a GET request that he could understand much. So he said, I think that's what I would assume. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he thought of something else. We can call Javed on chat. Why did someone pay 500 rupees? Bro. Yeah, don't pay, guys. And you've only said hello. He opened this, looked at the request, could not understand much. So he was like, I don't know. I don't understand. Why did subscriber mode get on? Many numbers got leaked. How did numbers get leaked? Never mind. I'm going off context here. He did this. He saw the network wasn't, the request wasn't, he couldn't understand the request, I would assume. So what he did was he wrote the script to start a bunch of Chrome instances. This is good, but why is this not too good? Because starting Chrome is expensive. You cannot start 1,000 Chromes on your machine. You can send 1,000 requests though. So this was the first principles approach that we took. Then it felt like we should rather do something else. So we inspected the request that was going out, understood this is the simple request, converted it into a script, and started to brute force using it. Now this is gray whether or not this is hacking or something else. This is technically not hacking. This is what? This is scraping. Is scraping legal? Very gray. Probably is, unless you do something bad with the data, or if you find an endpoint that's not publicly exposed. If you're able to get to certain endpoints that are not publicly exposed. The thing with this website is everything is publicly exposed. If this website, whatever this website is, does not have rate limits on this login endpoint, you can hit this login endpoint a lot. I don't think this one does. So you can, if you want to, you can hit this login endpoint a lot and try to brute force someone's password. So this is a publicly available endpoint. If it gets exploited or borderline scraped, it's fine. Maybe it's not fine, but at the same time, is it illegal? I don't know. scraping and crawling are both legal. That sounds great. I would assume not if you get access to some data and use it in some weird ways you shouldn't. They should do server-side rendering. So they do server-side rendering. When you click on this button, you don't get back any JSON, you get back HTML. So they were doing server-side rendering. At the same time, you can't do server-side rendering if you're clicking on a button and that leads to something. If you're clicking on a button, a request needs to go out. And that's what we were able to capture. Don't most Apex will rate limit a lot of passwords. That is correct. This website doesn't rate limit, but this goes out to a very nice CMS provider which does rate limit. So even if you try to hit this endpoint too much, you'll get rate limited. Actually, everyone will get rate limited, but okay, let's not go there. That is how you can do borderline non-shady things. This isn't shady at all. What we did in the video isn't shady. I just took it down because there might be something else that you can find if you keep going down the rabbit hole. That also I attribute to Javed. Javed also gave me a link yesterday. We were trying to scrape something. And then he sent me a link which was the initiation of what we eventually found. He gave me a link that looked something like this. Let's say harkiratswebsite.com/link/image.png application id/image. Something like this. Now what this image is something I cannot share. But I looked at this image and I was like, if I get the contents of this image, I can verify this person's performance in a specific examination. And as long as things have been done right in this examination, we're good. But if something shady has happened, it can be proved that something shady has happened. So I went to this and then, as you can see, the URL only has one dynamic parameter called application ID. It felt like, ooh, if I change this application ID, can I get someone else's something? I was like, yeah, you probably can. So from there, I have a dump of some data, which, is borderline problematic. So from there, it just felt like, it's not my battle to take on. I think there are smarter people to handle this. So I just backed off. That's a brief of what happened. Ethical hacking is great. It makes a lot of money. But there is a big word here called ethical. Ethical basically means, whatever you found, you don't create a video on YouTube to begin with. You report it directly to the company. Now, in this case, even if I report this, no one's going to take any action, because they're very slow when it comes to fixing these things. These things haven't been fixed for a while. Question is, did something shady happen? I don't know. But if you're smart enough, you can find out. Yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah. So first of all, whenever you're doing anything of this sort, do it for big companies. Don't do it for big companies. Don't do it for startups. They'll give you like 500 रुपए भेज देंगे कि हाँ लो, thank you, this is your bug bounty. There are good bug bounty programs on companies. Like big companies have big bug bounty programs, so you can just get paid for doing all of this. It's a lucrative field. It's very hard and niche, very similar to if I had to put out tech that makes outsized money, I would say that includes Web3, AI, Cybersec, maybe DevOps as well, like advanced DevOps. These are one of 4 bets that you can take if you want to make outsized outcomes, slightly harder paths to find jobs in, but if you're good at it, more than good at it, you can, you can make a lot of money. Choose which one of these is good. Understand which one of these piques curiosity. For me, I've done Cybersec back in college. I've done DevOps, since 2 years. I've done AI very briefly in college and then a little bit recently. And Web3 I've done, a lot. What are my motivations to pursue one of these? Cybersec is super cool if you're a curious person, understanding Linux systems, general systems on the web, how the web works, website security, If you like hacking, there are a lot of good videos. Let me find a good hacker. Where's that guy? There's a very nice with daughter jail. Nope. That's the guy, right? No. Does anyone know his name? Who went to jail for doing something and then came out and he adopted a daughter finally? I don't know. A lot of these very good, folks that hack. They make like $1 million a year. That guy made like, he did an income reveal in a video. He made like $1.5 million staying back home. You don't have to do much. You just have to, do the same thing for multiple websites. So yeah, not Snowden. Kevin, I think that might be it. Let's see. No, not Snowden. I don't think this is him. No, not Snowden, not this guy. Hacker, Texas, small city. Very inspiring story if you want to see. Cybersecurity hacker. Day in life. No. How much they make car? Come on. Yeah, I'm sorry, I cannot find it. It's a very good video. I would love to see it together. Okay, we'll find it. Don't worry. He's like one of top 10 security hackers in the world. OX something he has ka naam. Oh, this guy. Didn't someone post his name only? George Hotz? No, not him. I don't think he's a hacker, is he? Black Hatter contributor. No, this isn't him. HackerOne. Based on HackerOne ratings, he's he's basically somewhere in here. It's on Vice. I think it is on Vice. Hacker, cybersecurity, Vice. No. That's the guy. No. We'll find him. It's a very nice video. I think this is him. iPhone. I've been down this rabbit hole before. Russian hacker. He's like slightly plumpy guy. Cars. Joe Grant. Kevin something. Hacker, if I've been to jail before, I'll go again. Daughter. He put a tweet like this out a few years ago. Pretty solid guy. He's been to jail before, and someone tried something on his daughter. He put out a tweet as fucking, it's pretty badass. I'm trying to find, guys. 1 second. Cybersecurity. Wait, white hat hacker house. How much they make? ये सारे इंडिया के रिजल्ट्स क्यों आ रहे हैं ब्रो? Is that him? Looks like his car, bro. His face has changed a lot, but that's him. It's probably not him. Tommy DeVos. Why does that sound familiar? I think that might be him. Tommy था उसका नाम शायद. Let's see. There we go. We found him. Thank you, sir. Who was this? Anas Khan. Yeah, that's him. Wait, I don't think you guys can hear. Can you?
This is a classic Nissan Skyline.
Hold on 1 second. Sound. Now I cannot hear. Still cannot hear. MIDI. 1 second. Multi-output device should send it out to MacBook speakers.
It might look like just another car, but owning one of these makes you an instant star among car enthusiasts. And this guy's so rich, he owns 2 of them. He affords these luxuries not by toiling away
You guys can hear, right?
a 9-to-5 job like the rest of us, but by breaking into websites and getting paid for it.
My name is Tommy DeVos and I'm a hacker.
The businesses Tommy hacks are headquartered in cities like New York and San Francisco. But Tommy works out of suburban Virginia. And when I went to go see him over the summer, he was crashing at his mom's place. Her kitchen doubled as his office.
Most of the time, if I tell somebody I'm a hacker, the first thing they say is either really or no, you're not, because real hackers don't admit that they're hackers.
Do people think that you do it for bad reasons?
Yeah, people often ask me, hey, I think my boyfriend's cheating on me. Can you help me break into his phone so I can find out?
But Tommy's not gonna break into your boyfriend's phone, because all the hacking he does is legitimate. In arrangements called bug bounty programs, companies like Verizon and General Motors pay him to look for security holes in their systems so they can fix them before the bad guys get in.
When you find one of the ones that you know is going to be like $5,000 or $10,000 payout, it's just, you can feel your heart racing faster, and it's just like doing drugs. I don't want to go too into detail on comparison with that, but it's just, you get that same sort of rush.
For some time now, tech companies have employed legitimate hackers to test their systems. But over the last decade or so, bug bounty hunting has become much more organized, thanks to the emergence of websites that match freelance hackers with businesses. The prize money has now gotten big enough to make this an actual career.
What's the most money you've made on a bug?
A single report is $20,000.
What about in a single day?
A single day, $160,000 in October of last year, and I think that only took 3 or 4 hours worth of actually working.
So if you were to average it out, how many hours a week would you say you work?
5 to 10.
5 to 10 hours a week. And how much money have you earned over the last year?
This year, $636,000.
What do you think is the thing that makes you so good at it?
Pretty good.
The fact that I've been doing it for so long.
I thought Tommy was going to be something like a lawyer or a doctor. Tommy was very, very smart. And he was so much ahead of everybody else in the class.
In our classes, you could play on the computers when you finished all your work. I'd finish my work in 10 minutes, and then just go play on the computer.
It didn't take long for Tommy to fall in love with the internet. And one day, he stumbled into a chat room where people talked about their illegal hacks. They taught him their tricks, and he started hacking for fun. The first time he got caught was when he was in high school. He was expelled, spent a few weeks in juvenile detention, and was ordered to stay away from computers. But he didn't listen.
We got into NASA computers, the U.S. courts, Department of Energy, anybody that had huge budgets that should have had secure systems.
And he was caught once again.
Yeah, you guys can watch this in your own time. But yeah, this was the guy I first saw. I was like, So COVID mein, a lot of these things are very popular. That includes AI wasn't the hot thing back then, but Web3 was very popular, and so was cybersecurity. A lot of HackerOne people are making a lot of money. If you get into the right Twitter followings, you'll find people posting, I made $100, $1,000, sometimes even more. So yeah, but the bug bounty space is also getting crowded. Probably, if there is money somewhere, it does get crowded. Doesn't mean you shouldn't pursue it. Not everyone does it every day. The thing about any of these technologies, if you want to be really good at them, there are only a few people who are doing this every day, who have inherent motivation. So, even if it is crowded, it isn't really crowded, because a lot of people are just there for that first offer. At least the first mil jaye. And once they get in, they're going to chill for a really long time. So, upskilling is a very weird term. You should keep upskilling yourself. It basically means, do you really like doing this? If you really like doing this, you'll keep doing this every day. And, that is what has long-term, compounding effects. But what else did you want to talk about today? Let's review some pull requests. Maybe let's do a poll on what to do next. Let's start a poll. What should we do next? Don't have too much time here. Maybe like half an hour max, or maybe a little bit more. Let's see. We can do code reviews on algo.100xdevs.com. Now, this is like algorithmic website for solving algorithmic problems. There is a Code Forces video that was put out recently, where I've shared how to actually build something like this. There is one very good pull request. I can share what to do there and how that was solved. We can give a shout out to the person who solved it and go from there. And then code reviews on other repos or just talking/AMA. All right. We will follow the poll results very religiously. What do we want to do? Brute force tutorial. Oh, well, there is a video that got taken down. Just talking. Alrighty, we will talk. Rust project. So build an exchange. Someone built this. I forgot the name. Someone in the cohort only built this recently. It was written very well. I don't want to open my history, else I would have showed you. Let's go with Crew AI. It's gonna boom. What's Crew AI? I have opened this in the past, whatever this is. Review chess PRs. I think so. The polls have spoken and it's 51% just talking. We will do code reviews at the very end, maybe. Until then, let's take a pause. Yeah, agents for real world use cases. Okie dokie. Do they allow you to create one very quickly? This is also a very fascinating problem. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to even look at how you do this in production. But if you explore Y Combinator batch 2024, I would say half of the companies here are GPT wrappers. So there's definitely something there. In fact, if you look at the recent Nikhil Kamath podcast, you'll see Bill Gates say the same thing. Pretty much said,
to recommend to young entrepreneurs? Pick some AI thing and just use the Google, Microsoft platforms and go on top of that. If somebody...
Yeah, that sounds right. Build on top of GPT. Harkirat, it's just a GPT wrapper. Someone will come and replace me. Maybe OpenAI will. Yeah, that doesn't happen. Just because Amazon is such a big company doesn't mean so many other businesses don't exist, right? So you should, not worry about that. Google has a hackathon happening. Again, I forgot. Some in this direction only. Google hackathon for AI, like build on top of Gemini, something like this. Gemini. First prize there is like a car or something. So Gemini AI hackathon. Is that it? Ended. Yeah, somewhere find it. That might be a good thing to do if you want to pursue / just spend some time. If you want to spend some time doing something for the next 3-4 months. Harkirat, I'm in college. I don't have time. Yeah, if you don't have time, then that's fine. But if you have a lot of time, you're not worried about college. Your CGPA is fine. You're in your final year. You already have a placement. Build curiosity in one of these things. These might give you an outsized outcome eventually. It's not like you cannot get outsized outcomes in full stack jobs. You can join the right company, and if you're early there, become the person who leads everything also makes a lot of money, equity grows by a lot. That happens there as well. It's just easier if you're from India, maybe even abroad, but especially if you're from India, to get outsized outcomes initially in your salary itself. India, unfortunately, no one will pay you. People might, but if you're in a 3-4 year experience, 50 lakh cash, 60 lakh cash, best of the companies I've seen, that sort of becomes their ceiling. 80 lakhs cash, usse upar nahi jate. It's very hard. There are multiple reasons for it, right? India mein living is cheaper. Founders are usually Indians, so they understand that 80 lakh is a very high job offer. But in one of these, niches, even in full stack, you might find a company, but it's just, if it's a pure full stack company, the probability is really low कि तुम्हें कोई hire करेगा वहाँ से, because they have engineers there who also charge 100K. Why would they give you 100K? First, लेकिन if you have expertise in one of these, I will write another one that's making its way back thanks to LiveKit today. It's WebRTC, which is also one decent niche back in the day. Might not come back based on if voice agents become a thing. Suddenly has made a small uptick because ChatGPT introduced voice. A bunch of those WebRTC companies finally became alive because they integrated with them, which basically means they got OpenAI as a client, and now they've raised Series A's, Series B's. So that might be another niche. These niches में तो यार बहुत कम, anyways, not a lot of people go. Everyone's following the crowd. Everyone's like, oh, DSA is the right path, which it is, or like web dev is the right path, mobile app is the right path, whatever. But when it comes to these, people are just scared. There's no one guiding कि यार ये कर लो, या this is a slightly risky path because ऐसे तो नहीं है कि there are a lot of companies in Bangalore who are hiring for these roles. Even though today I would say maybe AI में तो बहुत companies hire कर रही है. Even in India, Bangalore में a lot of companies are trying this, building some GPT wrapper. So AI might be one niche जहाँ पे तो either way you should now try to go. But when it comes to the other ones, it might not be a predictable path, but it might be an outsized outcomes path. Harkirat, how do I get into this outsized outcomes path? The very first offer is what matters. You need to be decently good at whatever this niche is. Let's pick one. Let's say WebRTC, because I've seen this journey very well. The first company you work for here does not have a lot of solid engineers. Might just be a startup, might just be an individual. They want to try this. Aajkal AI is hot. I recently saw a tweet. Everyone's pivoting their startups to AI because that's where VCs are putting in money. Everyone wants to build an AI company. If I have some variation of AI, let's not build YouTube. Let's build YouTube with AI. Let's not build Uber. Let's build Uber with AI. People are not worried about the problem statement right now. People are worried about building something fancy using AI. So there are a lot of individuals who want to quickly try this out. Find one such individual company, small startup that has recently raised only a little bit, and tell them कि I am here as your whatever developer. I will help out. I know AI. आपको क्या बनाना है? क्या बनाना हो किसी को AI में? What does someone want to make today in AI? A good example is someone wants to make something like this. Like a few YC companies are doing this. Give me a website that does, trading, like what do you call it, Robinhood or like Zerodha, whatever, and this will spit out a website front end for you that you can use. This is one good example. How do you think this is solved? Can you think from first principles? If I'm giving it a prompt like this, it is giving me out a website. Let's see what the website looks like. Can you from first principles think ये कैसे हुआ? Considering that chat.openai.com is a thing, if you go to chat.openai.com, you give it a prompt, it returns you back some text. Can you just use that API? Can you just use that stack? Can you build a wrapper on top of an existing LM? How would you have to give it the prompt such that it returns you something like this? Okay, if you give it this text that says, give me a website that is trading like Robinhood, it returns you something like this. Whatever, this looks like a very bad thing of what it spit out, but charts, show them whatever. This is a landing page, but you get the idea. So I would find one such company, or I would just build an open source project that does this. I would build a website that lets you build other websites given a prompt. If that website becomes popular, great. Then so you are getting acqui-hired / funded. If you build a decentish version of this that spits out, for example, this website only spits out code in certain libraries like ShadCN. This specific component comes from ShadCN. They're very ShadCN specific. But there might be, you might build something for Tailwind, or you might build something that works in ChatCN, works with Tailwind, works with some other styling library as well. So, based on whatever the company stack is, they can pull this out. To understand how can you build this, again, how would you build this? How difficult do you think this is? I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to spitball here. Okay, if I had to build this, how would I build this? Okay, this is my website where the user is coming and the user is giving a prompt. Give me a website like Codeforces. I need to sort of forward this to ChatGPT or OpenAI, but how would I forward it? I would probably tell it, hey, you are a website maker. Ideally, I probably wouldn't use text. My AI would most probably be trained on some different types of tokens/data. My AI would know, okay, yaar, you are only allowed to return back HTML data or whatever, components. You are not allowed to return back textual data that's not formatted as HTML. I would first tell you're a website maker, you can only return HTML. You have to build a website that looks like a trading website. Very basic this thing. Even if you paste this prompt in ChatGPT, it would return you a website, right? Now, of course, there are a lot of things missing here. There should be much more context. OpenAI should probably know that. Your model should probably know, you are only allowed to use ChatCN. These are the available components in ChatCN. You're supposed to break this down into a hero component, an information component, a footer component, so on and so forth. So, you can just have to put this context here, hit the API, get back the response, show it to the user. Simple app to build, right? At least a V1. You can try building a V1 and then go from there. So, this is one of many things I would first build. Open source. Maybe look at a lot of these codes. I don't know. I'm seriously doubt v0.dev is open source, but could be. Vercel open source is a lot of things. V0 beta. Yeah, I don't think it's open source. Discussions are open source, but I don't think v0.dev is open source, which makes sense. Yep. What was GPA in college? 8.3. So, I would do this. I would first build this. Hopefully get approached by even a small company. Even if they pay me $10 an hour, I would take it. That's $80 a day. That's $400 a month. Week. That's $1,600 a year, month. It's like 1.2 lakh rupees, 1.3 lakh rupees. It's a good start. Yahan pe I would now have this as my first client. My goal is to reach whatever, $10,000 a month. I've figured out the first client over here. I would build high dependency on them, slowly push out their code. It will be very high dependency most probably because, they don't have any other engineers. That is why they had to hire someone from India for 1 lakh rupees. Then once I have this, they have high dependency on me. They will have sunken cost beyond a point. After they've paid you for 5 months, they'll be like, "Ban to gaya product yaar. Let's try a little bit more. We'll try for $1,600 a month. So you have one client sorted. Then number one, your goal here should be just to extract knowledge. I mean, koi product banana hai. How do I build this product in the best way? Now there might be some library that is standard that you should use to build something like v0.dev. Once you're in that ecosystem, you learn a lot of nuances. You wouldn't. If I today go out and try to build a website like this, I would do a lot of wrong things unless I've built this in production for like 2 years. If I've worked at the v0.dev team, they're trying to solve this every day. So, the things they're learning, the nuances they're understanding, how GPT performs, what happens when GPT hallucinates, things like these are, good nuances to learn. Another good video of mine here might be, Harkirat Singh AI, let's see. Podcast. The hell. Copilot. This video right here. This gives you so this was a very long discussion, eventually trimmed down to like 38 minutes, but this was this was a 2-hour discussion. And they took me through their code base that gave me a decent idea of, a lot of things I did not even know. For example, I did not know when you're talking to GP, there are like models trained just for coding. These guys were building GitHub Copilot. They were building their own, code helper in VS Code. So, when you're talking to an LLM like this, you don't really talk to it in plain text. You talk to it in a different language. I totally forgot again now. But that was something new I learned. When you're doing this every day, these guys are open source, by the way, if someone wants to contribute. If you do this every day, you learn a lot of things. You go from there. All right. Cool. So if you're on this stream today, what are you learning? Pick one of these fields. Harkirat, which is more hot? Depends on the cycle. It will take you a long time to learn any of these. Harkirat, should I learn this for 6 months? No. Maybe learn it quickly for a month or two. Make sure you have, basic DSA and web dev sorted. You can write code. If you can write some basic code, create a simple website, React, then you're sorted. Then move on to, picking one of these and building products in them. Harkirat, give me a few ideas. Build v0.dev over. Sorry. Build code forces / maybe not Swiggy. Trying to think of Zerodha / your student groups. So what are students using every day? Roommate website. You get the idea. One of these. Harkirat, what should I build in AI? You should build v0.dev. You should build chat with PDF. You should build chat with video, things like these. Cybersecurity. Try to reverse engineer websites. DevOps. Try to build lead code plus like deployed on a Kubernetes cluster. This is going to be our lab in the cohort for this week. And lastly, WebRTC mein to bhai, multiplayer call is the best thing. If you know how to do this well, you are sorted. There are companies still looking for this, who have people who have expertise in how multiple people can be in a real-time call. Cool. Alrighty. Now I'm going to look at chat for the next 10 minutes and 15 minutes. We'll call it at 1:30. Any questions, guys? Build your product hunt. Maybe. We'll see. How to integrate Web3 in a hospital management system? I mean, where do I implement this? Total to by the faculty. A hospital management system mein Web3 can be? That's a great question. This is a very faddy use case, but hospital management, it will be around all of your existing reports being on chain. Okay, yaar, if you can put someone's Aadhaar number and you can get back all of their existing medical history where they've been a centralized on-chain Aadhaar database based on which, if you put their Aadhaar number, you get back all their medical history that you can use for insurance, things like these. So the doctor should see a website. From the website, they should be given a button that says export. That exports their data on chain, puts, their specific report on like some decentralized object store like IPFS. That's a decentish start to, integrate Web3 in a hospital management system. What is the use case? Use case is you never lose your reports. They're always on chain. They're always for everyone to see. You can never fake insurance if you go from one country to another. If you took insurance from a company in India and then you had some medical thing that you did in a hospital in India, it's always on chain. You can't fake insurance kalko. If you've gotten a bad surgery, it's always on chain. So, you have to pay more premiums throughout. Is the chess report just dead? Yeah, sort of. In a sense, I don't have time to review it. But thankfully, Singh will be reviewing a lot of PRs now. So, he might get to it soon enough. If he's on the live, CMS is top priority, then really good, then this thing. And I'll just be reviewing algo.100xsteps.com key PRs right now. Is DSA really necessary for web dev? Oh God, we're back to square one. DSA versus web dev. It's not necessary. It's good to have basic problems. If you can solve, that's good. I made this without Web3. That's cool. Grind CB for a year or dev or DSA. I'm in second year now. This seems like a very common question. Why is this a common question? If ICPC is right around the corner, build this thing. Like do DSA. If the other thing is right around the corner, what do you call it? If GSOC is right around the corner, then you do dev. Discord general channel. Alrighty. Let's see. सर तो क्या करूँ अब ऑलमोस्ट कंप्लीट हो गया है नीट ब्रो इसको डिलीट कर दो वी आर नॉट परस्यूइंग दिस एनी मोर अनफॉर्चुनेटली एज मच एज आई वुड लव टू वी कैन नॉट लेट्स जस्ट नॉट was that it? All right. Oh, super chats, yes. Let's see. Fan funding. There we go. Hello G. Kaisa Sarve. Can I use Google Project IDX when starting out with the cohort? I really don't want to use Linux. Project IDX is an IDE, right? What is Project IDX? Oh, it's an entire web-based workspace. Sure. I don't know how. Is this already in production? Can you use this? Let's see. Let's try it out. Brief about the extent of math using AIML. A lot if you want to. 1 second. This one. A lot if you want to, get into core research. Other than that, not too much. Basic math is fine. Basically, you can start without math, but if you want to do core research, build libraries, do standard, just do basic, matrix multiplication, probability, things like these. Do the Andrew NG course. It covers a lot of things. Oh, wow. This looks pretty good. Okay, let's see. Really good. Start from a repo. This is not a Flutter app. Invalid repo URL format. Import. Hey Kirat, last week I was going through my first freelance work because of your cohort. Thank you. Appreciate it. Brief about the extent of math used in AI. Answer that. Joining company has some things with good. I have no idea what this is. I don't know what SAP ABAP developer is, unfortunately. Alrighty. Cool, guys. Did I answer everything? I think I answered everything. Cool. Back to chat. Suggestions on where to look for internship jobs. Completed 0 to 1. Made a few projects in React, Golang. Have made minor contributions to daily code as well. If you want to look at projects yourself, where can you start to? Which we can build this. This is very similar to the Replit thing. There you're using Monaco under the hood. So, this isn't too hard to build ourselves. It's like GitHub code spaces. But chalo. I was answering where can I find a? You can find it on Twitter. That's the first place where you can find. You can find it on these companies. Try at the very least to apply a bunch of Y Combinator, batch. Most people, a lot of half of the people who are getting into a company are getting into a YC company from the cohort. So find one of these YC batch companies. Where is that list? There's like a proper list somewhere here you can find and look at all the YC 2024 companies, 2023 companies, They're like 300 companies a batch. That's 600 companies a year. That's the best companies to apply for. Why? Because they've recently raised funds. They're most probably looking for engineers. They don't have a lot of funds, so they want a cheap engineer. India, say it works. Delhi meetup. It's happening on 6th of July. We are having the Delhi meetup on 6th of July. Book your tickets. Don't come from too far. It will happen most probably in the GNL Stadium in Delhi. So looking forward to meeting you all. Coolify Tech Stack. I think it's in PHP. I was looking at this yesterday only. Suddenly they've gained a lot of traction. Do not spam them. They're not a company. There's an individual who's running this. So you will not get a job if you contribute here. So don't. I think they use PHP. Could be wrong. I was looking at this yesterday. Why does it say Node.js over here? Let's see. The routes. That's probably API.php. I think they use PHP, unfortunately, which doesn't mean we cannot, contribute here. This is a cool project, basically, to build or otherwise. It's an open source Netlify /Vercel. Basically you can self-host it, connect it to your GitHub. It'll do all deployments for you. Its architecture is a little weird. So I was trying to think this day before yesterday when I was in a flight, how would you build something like Coolify? And I think, so this needs to be, this is an infrastructure problem, right? If you have something like Vercel, on every commit, you need a deployment somewhere. If I do a commit on GitHub, if I go to Vercel, what do I see? If I have a repository that's linked on my Vercel, every time a commit happens there, let's say, this lead code clone is linked. This is the website. Every time there's a commit that's happening, some deployment is happening, under the hood. There is some code bundle that's being stored somewhere. And if I go to a certain URL, for example, in this case, lead code clone -this hash.vercel.app, if I go to this specific URL, it should open a website like this. you will have a lot of these deployments very quickly. So there needs to be a distributed system at the very least. I don't know if Coolify is distributed. I could totally be wrong. But that's how I would build it. That's the first thing I would figure out. Given the whole GitHub deployment build creation is sorted, where will I be deploying these bundles? How can I make sure that, there might be thousands of these websites, thousands of these deployments that have happened, this is just the first one. Lead code clone, this hash dash harkirat/versal.app is just one. There are like thousands of these. You can't have all of those Next.js servers running, right? You have some of them. If a new request comes, you start the new one that just the request for which came. How do you start pods on containers? Which when a request comes, it starts. Where do you store the final bundle? Should you store it in an object store? Should you store it in some volume? Should you store it in a file system? Things like these. Very cool thing to build. We have built Vercel, but like a very weird basic version of it, which is decentish if you're not using Next.js. This is an easy problem to solve if you're using React. This is a much harder problem to solve if you're doing Next.js, if you have to add databases, if you want to allow a user to put Redis, that all of that these guys provide, right? Vercel provides you adding a database very quickly. If I go to storage over here, it'll let me add a database. Things like these, and hence it becomes a harder problem to solve. Either way, okay, I went off track here. Great project. Try to understand the code. I have not even tried. It's in PHP. Probably should. I need to understand what framework they're using in PHP, learn that a little bit, and then only can I probably even think of looking at this. But yeah, cool project. If you look at the star count, suddenly they blew up in the last 2. Something happened here. I don't know what happened. They came in my feed as well. They're catching heat, to say the least. But it's not a company, individual, to not spam, all that jazz, the drill. All right, let's try to see this. Yeah, this just looks like GitHub code space is almost exactly the same. Has the open source VS Code component that they're using, same thing happens there. Much slower though. So let's do an npm install. This is going to make our lives so much better in the cohort if people don't have to install all of these dependencies locally, and it just works in a cloud environment. I'm pretty sure we will take this down when we start this in the cohort, but if they were scalable enough, there's these guys are coming for Replic's market, right? They're actually a slightly better never mind, off topic. All right, people are asking a few questions. We'll try to answer them. How to find the endpoint from a mobile app. You can do Chrome debugging in a mobile app as well. You connect your phone to it. You see all the network logs here in your browser. Google about it. There's a way to do it. It's very hard to set up, but I've done it in the past. It's possible. Should we learn more? Can I say just ask? I'm confused. Learn whatever it makes you curious. Mern is the easiest one to start with. Python is also an easy one to start with because these languages are easy to understand, and then you can go from there. All right. Can I code well with ChatGPT? Can you remove that struggle? What should I do? I can code well with ChatGPT, but if you remove that, I struggle. Yes. Don't code with ChatGPT initially. Having muscle memory when it comes to coding, whatever your stack is, let's say Java, is very powerful. I know we have AI today, and you can literally copy a lot of things, maybe sometimes all of the things, but yeah, if you write it yourself, at least have muscle memory, then do whatever you want. But if you have muscle memory, if I had to write this myself, I can, then it's just a good skill to have, bro. When did you last sleep? So I took a very long break. Don't ask why. I had a late night flight, then did not sleep all day. I then slept for a few hours, woke up 2-3 hours ago. I'll probably go to bed soon. Someone said mobile endpoint clear, easier to connect phone to Android Studio, open network tab. Okay, so it seems like you can do it in Android Studio as well. I did check super chats. Let's see, did I miss any? Fan funding. Cover till here. Should we? Okay, answer that. Should I fake experience? Strong no, maybe. Definitely not a strong no. Depends on how you're faking it. If you're converting a 2-month internship into a 5-month internship, it's fine. If you're trying to convert an internship into a full-time experience, borderline gray. It's not too bad. As long as you can justify the experience, if you have the right skills and you're converting a 2-month internship where you did X into a 6-month internship where you did Y, it's fine. Kotlin is easier than Mern? I don't know. I would assume so. doesn't have backend, right? So front-end technologies are usually much easier to understand. All right, let me do a quick poll and understand, just to see, get a decentish head count or percentage. Will you be coming to the Delhi meetup on Saturday, 6th July? Question mark. Let's see how many people we can expect purely based on this poll. Answer truthfully, no need to lie about it. Please upload the neat video again. We will see. As I said, it probably is doing more harm than good. So, I don't know. We'll see. Probably not. No, I'm not learning touch typing. Transaction anonymity in token based CBCD. Okay, dokie. It's a lot of buzzwords together. Are you saying how can I introduce anonymity into a token that I create for my own? Is that your question? It's very hard to do, whatever you're asking, but if that's your question, I have no idea. You probably need to use some sort of zero knowledge proofs to prove you own a balance without, or you made a transaction without actually letting the world see. Solana has token 2022, which does the same thing that you're asking. Token 2022, GitHub. Let's see. Token 2022. Aryan Mishra, how's the content? Is good teacher? If you're going to ask Aryan if I'm a good teacher, he will say yes. He works for me. No, where to book tickets for this event? It will just be open for people in the cohort. And if you're not from the cohort, you will have to find a friend and tag along. Too bad internship bhi nahi mil rahi fake karne ko lol. Lol, why is wasting $100, my friend? Okay, so I read through this. Let's see. Concept: to make adaptation easy. The existing token program serves more user funding tokens on Solana. So a simple set of interfaces and structures. It has been rigorously audited since its initial deployment in 2020. As more developers have come to start with new ideas, however, they have forked the token program to add functionality. It's simply to change and deploy the program, but it's difficult to achieve adoption across the ecosystem. Makes sense. Solana's programming model requires the programs to be included in a transaction along with accounts, making it complicated to track the contact. Makes sense. On top of the technical difficulties, wallets and on-chain program must trust any token program, or must not trust any program that they choose to support. Must trust any token program that they choose to support. We need to add a new token functionality with minimum disruption to the user wallet. This doesn't seem like it's that. A new token program was. This is not zero knowledge. Hiding user balances. I thought this is that. This doesn't seem like this is that. Nope, this isn't that. Token 2022 ZK token protocol paper. This might be it. Seems like this changed. I thought this was part of token 2022. I was asking about the DSA teacher of your cohort. Oh, okay. It's pretty good. He's good. We had one before. He wasn't great. Now the person that we have is good. He's a little slow. I asked him for the curriculum. He gave me like a year worth of curriculum. He probably won't be doing a year of classes. We trimmed it down to like 3 more months. But yeah, he's pretty good. He's slow. So, if you're pretty good, he's slow because, he takes beginners very well. So if you're a beginner, it's probably great. Very small classes, 100 to 200 people coming currently. So, extreme personal attention. But at the same time, if you're a decent, if you're like, I've already done a lot of things, the classes will probably seem very slow to you. All right. Privacy on Solana. Blockchain and smart contract platforms have gained considerable amount of traction in the last, how do I close this? Few years transforming the way. Suggestion for upcoming placement. Did CP, beginner dev, week 3 front end, did DSA, suggest me placements. If you are preparing for placements, which I'm assuming most probably means campus placements, DSA, that's it. Put 2-3 projects in there, but DSA. I don't use Obsidian, I only use Notion. And finally, dil ki baat bol di, kya bol diya. All right. Blockchain and smart contract platforms have gained considerable amount of traction in the last few years. As the technologies are gaining mainstream adoption, blockchains are starting to store increasing amount of sensitive user data. You can check how much crypto I own if you know my wallet address. Extremely sensitive user data. A number of advanced cryptographic techniques such as zero-knowledge proof systems have been proposed to enhance the privacy on the blockchain. Unfortunately, most of these technologies require heavy on-chain computation, making them slow and expensive to run on any existing blockchain. Solana, however, is well positioned to adopt and process many of these privacy-enhancing technologies with industry-leading speed, capacity, and cheap costs. As an L1 blockchain, Solana can theoretically serve as the compute layer for any existing cryptographic protocol. Currently, the Solana runtime constraints make it difficult to do certain cryptographic operations on chain. As our software matures, we hope to incrementally ease the amount of these constraints. Basically, you can only use certain compute limits when you're doing a transaction. You can only pass in certain number of accounts. And when you're doing a zero knowledge proof, you have to do a lot of it. So even though Solana is a decent place for it, what these guys are saying is that the Solana runtime constraints do make it difficult to process certain cryptographic operations on chain. A cryptographic operation might take a long time or a lot of compute. Your transaction might, time out. As our software matures, we hope to incrementally ease these constraints, enabling wider confidential payments. This was your question, right? Basically read through this, or some other, there are a bunch of blockchains. I think Monero is one that does this only, ZK payments. And you read how they do it. I'm assuming there's a simple version of this is like very easy to do. But yeah, SPL ZK tokens. The ZK token program is based on a protocol that was developed in-house by Solana. Yeah, we should add this to the cohort, man. I was thinking of adding zero knowledge generally to the cohort. But, once you know zero knowledge, what are the good things you can build? One good thing you can build is, if there is an examination that is happening, how can you prove that nothing bad has happened there without giving out the user's identity? How can the government prove that nothing shady is happening? The government should release everyone's OMRs. The government will not do it. Probably shouldn't be done for privacy purpose. Like, they won't do it for a lot of other reasons. They would also not do it because, privacy concern. I can look at my neighbor's OMR and be like, ha. तूने तो पहला section ही नहीं किया था, right? You did not attempt physics at all. So, for privacy reasons also, you shouldn't release the OMR of the student. But you should release a way in which you can prove that indeed this person had this rank without showing their OMR. How can you do it? I know it's a difficult problem. There are very good examples of ZK. If you this is a decent example of ZK, but let me give you a more real world one. Zero knowledge example. Let's see if we can find it. I had one, but it's skipping my head. Zero knowledge proofs explained in 3 examples. Let's see. Created 2 LangChain and Lang graph projects. Should I continue learning AI? Should to Web3 getting FOMO? Do not get FOMO, but this is a great start. What you're building, build a product now. Build v0.dev. Put it on Twitter. Create a GitHub repository. Maybe find an open source project. If you know LangChain, you can probably contribute to the Copilot I was talking about. Stay there. No rush. No. Aram se. The good thing about tech is you have a few years. You can learn everything if you want. You won't after a point. You will get very interested by one technology, but you can. Let's see what the example is. Love one. Explaining ZK proofs to a child. Where's Wally? This is the example maybe this is the blog post I read when I was looking at examples. The simplest way to prove that you have knowledge of something without giving away, what do you have to prove? What is this problem? Have you heard of Where's Waldo or Where's whatever? This is Wally. Given this image, very big image to you, you have to find Waldo. You have to find a certain character. This is that character. Let's say, this red colored woman over here. Very famous game called Where's Waldo, where you do this. You see, this is who Waldo is. You have this image of, a bunch of people on a beach. You have to find Waldo. So, this is a very popular game in the US. You have like digital versions of this, physical version of this as well. You get a physical board which has like 100 papers, which has hundreds of these characters. You have to find Waldo over here. Now, let's say I have to find Waldo. I have to prove to you, okay, bhai, I have found Waldo without giving you the exact location of it. What was I saying? I need to prove to my friend कि भाई मेरा 658 आया था. I had a rank of 658 in IITJ 2014 Flex, but I don't want to show him my OMR. वो बोलेगा अच्छा मुझे कैसे पता 658 है? I'll be like मैं बता रहा हूँ 658 है. बोलेगा नहीं मुझे proof दिखा. Show me the proof. Show me your OMR. I'll be like OMR तो मैं नहीं दिखा सकता. So how can I prove it to them? Using these zero knowledge proofs. Now we'll have to figure out what the zero knowledge proof is for ITJ examinations or whatever, OMRs. But if I can, what is the zero knowledge proof over here? Let's say I found ke Waldo ye raha. This is Waldo. What I can do is I can cover the whole paper, this whole paper black, and cut a small hole over here and be like, dekh, ye raha Waldo. I was able to show you ke Waldo yahan hai. But if I remove that black paper, you cannot tell. It's lost again. What was the example here? Dekh ye raha. I covered the whole thing. I showed ye raha. Then I'm like, theek hai, fir se piche mud ja, turn around again, and then I show you the whole thing. You cannot. It's lost again. So that's a good example of zero knowledge proofs. Sorry, we took a detour. That is what probably, that's what most anonymous token programs use. That's what these guys use as well, probably. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. There are a lot of blockchains built on top of, zero knowledge proofs. Have you heard of L2s? Layer 2 protocols might be another thing that we add to the cohort. The cohort is going to become very big, I think, but it's for good reasons only. It can be a perpetual cohort. By perpetual cohort, I mean, can keep running for a year because, I work in this field only. I keep learning new things. So, we might, Web3 cohort might be a long one. One, because even the current syllabus is very long, but, L2s, rollups, or more specifically, ZK rollups, might be something we add. General ZK might be something we add. And then, we had the token program most probably in the syllabus. We might add this ZK token program. I'll have to read through it first and understand it myself. But, things like these are interesting. How can I get a 20k rupees job a month? 20k rupees is pretty good. Have you tried opening one of these repositories? Have you tried contributing here? In a single bounty, people have won this much. Let me take you through one that won Nimit like $500. It's very funny also, that specific PR. Yeah, that's the one. So can you understand all the code here? This one pull request made Nimit $500. That's 2 months ki salary of yours. You asked for 20,000, that's 40,000 bucks. Can you understand this? Because if you cannot, if you can write, here is the problem. Person does not know anything. Person's like 20,000 ki bhi de do. Person knows itna. ठीक है, अब तो मुझे सब आता है. Person doesn't care about kitna. Person like आ जाएगा. If you look at this is a classic example of this. He built this. I was like, ठीक है, I will merge this. I merged this code in. Totally forgot about this. Okay, this existed. What was happening is I was merging a bunch of PRs. And then after merging it, I realized the person hadn't done something very common and I was giving out the bounty first. So for this PR, I said, I merged this in and I said, merging this in, we'll test it locally and eventually assign a bounty to it. Totally forgot to review it. 3 days later, Nimit posted this. 1 month later, Nimit posted this. And then later I realized, when I was building code forces, I realized, Nimit made a similar PR in daily code. And then I suddenly realized and assigned this bounty. Coming back to the question, does Nimit care? No. For a month, he was posting emojis, but he doesn't care because he knows how to code. He was interested in doing this, not in ke yaar koi 20,000 de de. And this I've seen mostly on the other side. When people move to this side, right? People come into my DMs a lot of times with bhaiya 20,000 ki 15,000 ki naukri chahiye. And then after they've either done the cohort or if they've started to contribute here, they're just happy to do this. And if they make some money, great. If not, they'll make money elsewhere. Cool. Bahut zyada detour ho gaya. Oh, Nimit is on chat here. When will Web3 cohort start? Soon enough. I was going through cohort 2 syllabus today. So, there's not a lot of things left. And, very close to the end of it. We'll do the Delhi meetup. The Delhi meetup was supposed to be a farewell thingy. We'll see if that happens or not. But either way, let's do the Delhi meetup and then, probably somewhere around that time. Soon enough. But, things like these now make me super bullish on making this a perpetual sort of a cohort. Okay, every other weekend or every weekend if we have a live class, we're going to learn something. This is the official syllabus right now, but there's so much to do, so many new things that keep on happening. In the next 6 months, for sure, there'll be like a new fancy thing that will come, especially if the bull comes. God knows if it will. But if it does come, then there's a new blockchain that's popping up. This is the right time to be on that blockchain. How do you build programs on that blockchain is what we'll have to learn. All right. Cool, guys. I think that's enough for today. I think we can call it. It was a great stream. The goal of which cohort syllabus is in this video that I put up. Yeah, just go through that video. Over here. This is a rough syllabus. This will probably change. But it's like a good roadmap, like a very good beginner friendly roadmap. At least the 0 to 1 portion here is something jo jaldi se kar lo, bro. Just look for, get over it and be ready for the cohort. Again, we'll try to keep it very actionable when it comes. Very 0 to 1 might be a little slow, but then we halfway through 0 to 1, we just sprint through it. How far are we from 400k? We can just do this on live as well. Sorry. Subscribers, analytics. Probably should be hiding this, right? I think there are some rules. Live. There we go. Oh, we're almost there. Let's do this on live and then we'll call it. Okay, guys. Don't play games with me. Don't start to unsubscribe now. How does indexing searching in an encrypted DB like RDS? What do you mean encrypted DB like RDS? Is RDS encrypted? What does that mean? Can you point me to a link to what makes RDS an encrypted database? Are they encrypting every row in there? I would have assumed RDS is just Postgres deployed on AWS. But if that's not the case, post me a link. Happy to read through it and tell you what I understood and share. Bro, don't take it down, guys. We'll just try this for 10 minutes. If it doesn't happen, we'll call it either way. Is Java along with Android Spring good for GSOC? You just need one. I don't think you need everything. You don't need GSOC, Java as well as Spring Boot. You can just pick any one. Best way to... Oh, I'll go in a pull request. We can do that. Okay, let's do that. Let's also learn something new. I think this was a bad bet. People are unsubscribing as well. Okay, never mind. There we go. Good PR. Very good PR. Also became very big. Okay, bunch of things removed. We don't need the webhook anymore. You've missed my last super chat. Alrighty, sorry about that. Super chat. You missed my last 2 super chats. Can you please look at it? Okay, so oh my god. 3. Okay. Resource for in-depth to advanced course for Web3 which involves underlying architecture for Rust and all. I don't think there is one, unfortunately. There is this bootcamp that Soul people are doing, Solana people are doing right now. I'm also a speaker, like I'm taking a guest session there. That is limited to 40 people, unfortunately. I think they've decided 25 people, there are only 15 more slots. So that'll probably be a pretty actionable one. But let me ask them if we can, release videos or somehow get some content from there. That might be good. Other than that, unfortunately, there isn't a resource for in-depth, intermediate to advanced. So, whereas usually resources intermediate to advanced are very hard to find anyways. But Web3 may, unfortunately, I can't point you to. I don't know one. If I would have known one, I probably would have gone through it as well. I learned all of my Solana intermediate stuff, advanced stuff by either, thankfully, I was in the ecosystem. I was in companies that are doing this every day. So, you can read through the code base or, open source contracts or Anchor, things like these. So, so yeah, that's a brief. Good question. That's a great question. But unfortunately, there isn't a good resource right now. You'll have to just build to do it or just get into a company where you can learn. But yeah, we'll try. The cohort is, somewhat in that direction, although towards the end, in 1 to 100. That's a very good question, but unfortunately, I don't have a good answer for you, sir. All right. Yeah. Screw you guys. All right. Why are you taking it down? Okay, it's coming up. Never mind. All right. Almost there, guys. Almost there. What I would think. Why do I think you guys will take it up to 999 and then take it down really bad? That's my guess. Also, there aren't a lot of people on the stream right now, so maybe this just doesn't happen. Either way, we'll come back to it in a while. Let's go here and look at the new architecture. This is the before. That looks perfect. Request goes to API to Judge 0 comes back. This is the after. Front end to API, API to Judge O to Postgres. This is not the new architecture. We don't have submission webhook anymore. This directly hits over here. Right, Sujit? Let me open chat. I think Sujit is somewhere here. This guy hits Postgres directly, right? I will wait for Sujit to come. Okay, doesn't seem like this is happening today. Where are you, Sujit? Okay, while he comes. Let's see. Maybe he's not here right now. Where is the schema? There we go. We discussed this a little bit on WhatsApp, so I've reviewed this partially before. Looks good. I'm looking at the wrong before and after. Oh, there's another one. There is one. This is before. Oh, this is the whole thing is before or what? Never mind. I know the architecture. Just asking out of curiosity. That's all. Let's see. Oh my God, Riya Sharma. This is a public platform and I'm married. I'm kidding. How far are we? 894. I am top one is before and the bottom one is after. Okay, that's fine. I think that is wrong, but I mean, I think this is what you did before. Now to be, sorry, what do you write? First one is before. I am on top one. I am on top one is before and the bottom one is the after. Oh, so this is the after. Front end to API to judge or to common PSQL. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, you're right. This is the right architecture. This is the before architecture. Perfect, works. All right. Got rid of this. .env.example has been updated to have a mount path. Oh, we changed this as well. Nice. Love it. I will have to change the deployment a bit, but that's fine. In the next live stream, let's deploy this using Kubernetes. Can you please honestly tell us your Web3 cohort worth for me as I've been working Web3 and all? Probably not. 0 to 1 though, definitely not worth it for you. You'll be very slow, frustrated and move on. 1 to 100 might be a good idea to just buy it independently. And then, maybe independently halfway through it. So you have some content to look at. If you like it, then fine. If not, then, if you've been working in Web3 for, if you have a decent understanding of all of Web3, then, yeah, just look at the specific topics that are being taught in 1 to 100. And only if it is something you don't already know very well, then because you have to teach this sort of slowly. When you do that, if you already know a lot of this, it's very frustrating. So keep that in mind. All right. So we post to judge 0. We don't give a callback URL. We get back the test cases. We put them as such here. Connect response.data. Okay. What does test cases look like now? Schema.prisma. There we go. How many lectures left in 1 to 100? Probably 4-5 weeks of live videos and a bunch of offline videos. Have you changed test cases? There you go. So you got rid of test cases. Submissions still have. Oh, you've linked that directly there. Fucking very cool. Schema.prisma. You have linked. If you look at submissions. 1 to 100. So they get really. Oh my God! Don't keep spending $400, dude. Like $40 every time. They get released together, but for the first few months, 0 to 1 happens, then 1 to 100 happens. So whenever the Web3 cohort gets released, it should be soon enough. You'll see both the sections. If you want to buy it right then, you can. But classes won't come for a while, so might be a good idea for you to just wait a few months and then do it. All right. Submission now has test cases. This contest submission. Where is real submission? Submission now has test cases, which are submissions array. Perfect. That's exactly what we needed. That is exactly what we needed. That looks right. Submissions / route.ts. We need to do a post. We need to check the post. Sorry. It's done. And this is the other endpoint, I would assume. The get endpoint. No, this is the post endpoint. Why is GitHub being GitHub? Let's see. We open this. If I buy the burn code now, the lectures will be available after completion. No, you'll see all the existing lectures immediately. Later ones you'll see later on, of course. Okay, why is this not expanding, bro? Why is GitHub being weird right now? Okay, did expand. Yeah, there you go. That's the get request where we do get the submission with the test cases. Then we say test cases is, if not submission.memory or submission.time, which means submission hasn't been evaluated, I would assume. Pending test case is equal to, oh, okay, this means the submission has been evaluated. No. What is the submission? This is the submission, makes sense. Pending test cases, failed test cases. If pending test cases dot length is 0, then accepted equal to failed 0, so update, makes sense. If this was part of a contest, oh, this looks wrong. Find the submission. So if I join your meetup, do I need to spend like 6K or something for your cohort and then apply for the meetup, or is there any way I can just buy the tickets? Just come. We don't really verify, if I'm being honest. Preferably have a friend along who has bought the cohort. Also, you don't have to pay 6K. You can buy 0 to 1 with last chance coupon codes. Like, don't do that. If you're not going to use the cohort, just come. So contest submissions equal to, you get the submissions. If not, return, else get points. Contest submission not upstart. Okay, so here is a problem, I think. If there is an active contest ID, why are we updating this on, why are we making this database call on every get? Do we need, okay, I understand the, every time the user gets, oh, this is which endpoint? This is the bulk get endpoint, right? Now this is just get submission. Where is the submission endpoint used? API submission route.ts. This isn't the dynamic submission. This is just a submission route. So this logic was happening in the webhook. Sujit, hopefully you're here. Oh, Virat wanted here what? No, 924. Getting there. Yeah, 6th of July JLN auditorium. So Sujit, this get endpoint gets called, I'm assuming from the front end after we submit. After you submit, you keep polling this endpoint, but the user might not poll this endpoint as well, right? You get that? The user might not pull this endpoint as well. So their submission will remain stuck. Their contest points will not get updated. Right. Their contest points will not get updated if they're not fetching this endpoint, which they might not. So for that reason, I would assume, okay, we need to change this logic. But the question is, where do we put this logic? Unfortunately, we had a very nice webhook before. We don't anymore. This is your API server, and this is the Judge O server. And this Judge 0 server is, now sending the submission directly to the Postgres table. And when it's sent, a few of them is when we need to, update the submission as well. Yeah, this is going to be super weird. There won't be an easy way to do this. How do you update the submission to be accepted or rejected? How do you update the user's points? The submission has happened or not? Considering Judge 0 is not hitting an endpoint anymore, Judge 0 is directly hitting a Postgres table. Yep, this is going to be difficult. There is no easy way to do this. yeah, we will need like a submissions sweeper or something. We'll either have to change the architecture. Okay, you know, a single thing reaches judge 0. You send all the test cases shoved. You can do that, probably should not do that. Sadik, bro, you have a lot of money. You could have just bought the cohort anyway. Venue is JNL auditorium. Well, it will be announced everywhere. Don't have to spend money for this, dude. It will be announced anyway. This money does not reach me. 40% goes to YouTube. So, you know, do something. Just buy. If you want to give me money, there are better ways to do. Don't give me money, but you get the idea. No point doing it here, guys. All right. How far are we? Pretty close. Might get there. Sorry. So I was saying, yeah, let's not do that. We need individual submissions. That is fine. Every submission is per test cases. We need some sort of event listener on it on the database, basically. Yeah, it's going to be like very, very, very hard. Like not very hard, but you know, we have to decide the architecture right here. Otherwise, we're just going down a weird architecture. We can either write a sweeper whose goal is simple. Okay, given this Postgres table, it tries to get all the pending. I repeat. Yeah, we actually. Never mind. I was thinking we anyways had to write that, but we don't actually. We don't anymore. ठीक है, नहीं भेजेंगे super chat. Thank you, Rakshit. Very cool. The sweeper checks how many Postgres submissions are pending, and then you know if test does all the sweep logic. Thank you, Ramanjeet. Go, guys. All right, see you soon. And guys, let's just stop with the super chats. And this is fine. I think we won't reach there today. It's fine. We'll reach in a few hours. Sujit, let's discuss on WhatsApp the architecture. Probably we'll have to write the sweeper. I can't think of anything else. The problem with the sweeper architecture is it's very weird and flaky. Yeah, I don't love this sweeper architecture. The sweeper's goal is it'll check the Postgres कि यार कौन से submissions pending है. जो pending है, it will then check all the test cases and see have all of them pass, and if they have, it will update the Postgres database to be, you know, hey, sorry, there you go, this is your updated submission, whatever, right? So that is the problem. Alright, I'm going to close chat now because a lot of people are sending super chats, which is not cool. How do I find tech conference in India? Because I work remotely with Chinese people. Sorry for the more super chat. How do I find tech conferences in India? I haven't been to. What's a sweeper? Great question. Sorry, first let me ask this question. Tech conferences in, there are a lot of Web3 ones that I go through from time to time. That's really it. I don't attend too many of these. How do I find them? I don't know. Move out of India. I don't think there are any good conferences that happen in India. Dubai, there are a few good. All of them are very fatty, if I'm being honest. You know, all of them have VCs more, tech people less. I would say China might be the right place for, you know, tech conferences if you're able to understand what's happening there. Don't have a language barrier. I unfortunately don't have a good answer. Stop with the super chats here. The sweepers. So let me quickly share the problem that's happening, which is we have two tables. In our Postgres database, we have two tables. One table is called submissions. Whenever a user makes a submission on the platform, a submission entry is made. And this is pending initially. And this submission is linked to a bunch of test cases. There are a lot of test cases that are run for this specific submission. Now, when this updates to, let's say, AC, and this updates to, let's say, wrong answer, and the third one also updates to AC, only then can we say that this submission is no longer pending. This submission now has become accepted. So we have to change the status over here whenever all the test cases have updated. So, and these test cases are unfortunately not updated by our Node.js process. They're actually updated by a Ruby on Rails process that's running, the Judge 0 server that is running. So we don't want to update any code over here. We could have done, when you're updating, just check if all of them have happened and update this as well. But we have not written that logic. You might say, Harkirat, this is just a combination of these. So don't store anything here. Submission will not have the status. You can always just check कि test cases का status क्या है. Based on that, you can figure out whether इसका status क्या है. इसका status in this case क्या होगा? It will be a wrong answer because one of them is the wrong answer. If one of them, the test cases are wrong, the overall submission is wrong. But the problem here is कि the submission, we also need to, we need an event that tells us कि submission का status change हो गया, because contest में points होते हैं. When you're giving a contest, you get points for an AC. This table also needs to update. So for that reason, yeah, let's just discuss this in WhatsApp, dude. Probably we need a separate process that keeps on checking कि status क्या है, and all of the test cases have succeeded, then it updates this over here. There's no other better way to do it. Or the Ruby all Rain server along with Postgres pushes this somewhere from which we pushes to a queue, we pull from the queue and then go from there. But yeah, I hope you understand what the problem is here. What we have currently will not work because the user might not hit this get endpoint at all, and hence we will never know if there is a pending submission. And if the user does not hit this endpoint, we will never update the status of this submission, which is something we need to do if all the test cases have passed or failed. All right, cool guys. I think we'll call it here. Unfortunately, I don't think we might reach, but happy to call it here. And thank you for joining in. I will see you guys probably next week or in a video, probably where I'm not hacking anymore, and scraping whatever, and then we'll go from there. Any parting thoughts? I have no. A lot of people asking same question. Kirat, can you review my PR? CMS PRs will be reviewed by this guy very soon. I want to do advanced Vim talk. Sure. Well, DM me on WhatsApp. You seem like an interesting person. Akash, can you get in touch with Sadik? Sadik, can you come on Discord? Ping Rookie or Akash, and then we can go from there. I would have just given you my number, but there are a lot of eyeballs on us right now, but we'll have to talk to you. Sound like an interesting person. Rarely do people ask कि यार advanced section में क्या होगा. Beginner usually people are worried about beginner sections, but ठीक है, either way we'll call it. Thank you for joining guys. Have a good night. Bye bye.